Welcome back to LEGO Battlebots, the Losers League. It is round 4, and one of these two bots, as well as another bot in the next fight, are guaranteed to be scrapped. The two bots we're seeing now are Crypt and Glitched Out. Formerly known as Glitched Out lost its name after what is now Glitch, formerly the other Glitch, defeated Thunderbolt in an incredibly dominant performance. And now, with both bots sitting at 0-3, winless in Season 3, to go all the way here, they are not doing well at all, and somebody's got to win this fight, and if they win this fight and win their next fight, they have one last shot in the last chance bracket, but that's going to be difficult. Crypt has a powerful spinner that could do some serious damage to Glitched Out, but Glitched Out could also flip Crypt, and as we know very well, Crypt cannot self-right. So let's find out who wins this fight down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Ooh, nice shot by Glitched Out early on. Crypt gets knocked up, but they're still stable. And Crypt now rips off the wedge of Glitched Out. Not a good start at all anymore for Glitched Out. They are struggling, and especially with a third of their frame gone and their spinner gone, can Glitched Out even move? Well, certainly not now, as the countdown has started and their chassis has been split into 3, and things just continue to fall and fall for Glitched Out. Glitched Out had a decent shot right there, but didn't really do anything, and Crypt just went to work after that, landing some serious shots to rip off the wedge and then split Glitched Out apart. Yeah, Glitched Out now 0-4. No matter what happens in the last fight, they will be scrapped. And yeah, that's not very good for them at all. The other fight between 0-3s is an IRL rematch between Nightmare and Ice Wave. Yeah, not exactly the best bots here. Both bots obviously losing the past fights. And they're Nightmare to Ripron, Ice Wave to Black Dragon, both ended up getting flipped. And it's pretty interesting. I mean, Ice Wave, I'd say, has a design advantage, just like an IRL, that big horizontal spinner, but it's not the most powerful spinner, and Nightmare might be able to actually hit that engine and tear it off, and if that goes, then, well, Ice Wave has no weapon. So it's a very interesting fight. Let's see who wins this fight, who has another chance, and who goes 0-4 and is guaranteed to be scrapped down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Both bots spin after weapons. Ice Wave hits the side of Nightmare's disc. I can imagine that'll count a lot, because that's usually how these kinds of spinners tend to interact. Both bots just landing jabs at each other. I think it was a decent shot by Ice Wave there, but neither bot really landing some big shots. Ice Wave's been sent flying back a couple of times. Nightmare's been sent spinning a little a couple of times as well. And yeah, this is just pretty decent fight so far. Both bots playing jabs, but neither bot really taking advantage, though I would say Ice Wave has a slight upper hand with how that weapon, just how the weapons interact. There's a solid shot there. And Nightmare just staying aggressive as his Ice Wave, just both bots just charging right at each other, not really doing too much to each other as it seems until now, but looks like Nightmare's disc might be struggling a little bit. I don't think it's spinning with the same force. Yeah, they're going in without it now. Yeah, that disc is definitely taking some serious damage. It can still spin, but it is not spinning as well as it used to be. You can see that immediately slows down. Now that weapon is no longer truly free about the axis, which means Ice Wave has a big advantage now. They have the wedge, and now they have the only really functional weapon in the battle here, and they are trying to take advantage of both, and there's the damage. There's one of the teeth of Nightmare getting completely ripped off, and Ice Wave going into control bot mode, trying to flip Nightmare over, and there they go. That is gonna do it. Ice Wave gonna land a couple shots, and there goes the second tooth. But that is going to be it. The countdown has started. Nightmare will fall to 0-4, while Ice Wave rises to 1-3. Most of this fight, it was pretty even between the two of them. Both bots were laying jabs, both bots were laying fairly decent shots without any really major damage able to be discerned on either bot, but slowly but surely Ice Wave was able to really do some damage to Nightmare's weapon, and eventually it really slowed down, and that enabled Ice Wave to really take control of that fight. And you can see, especially once that tooth came off, it was all over for Nightmare. They didn't have anything to counter Ice Wave after that. Ice Wave simply flipped them over and then ripped off the other tooth, because why not? Ice Wave now fights for a chance in the Last Chance tournament. We're now heading into some 1 and 2 bots that are doing slightly better than the bots that were 0 and 3, and at least they still have a chance. So this fight sees Apex taking on Extinguisher, one of the least durable bots in the field, versus one of the least reliable bots in the field. I mean, both bots do have decent weapon power, and Extinguisher could flip Apex, but Apex, I'd give it the advantage in this one. It has a really big spinner, and it does take a little bit at least for that bot to break. Well, one good shot from Apex could end Extinguisher, so let's find out if that happens down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Both bots spam up. Ooh, solid shot by Extinguisher early on at... Well, congratulations, Apex. You're the more reliable bot in this match. You don't seem to have suffered a scratch. Extinguisher, on the other hand, we're gonna need to have a talk about this. Well, that was one shot from Apex was enough to completely disable the frame after Extinguisher tried to spin up, and that was not great for Extinguisher at all. Next up is another IRL rematch. This one, Ripron versus Black Dragon. Both bots coming off wins. Ripron over Nightmare, Black Dragon over Ice Wave. That's the first one of this competition. They really need this win in order to survive, because whoever wins this fight, either they go into the Last Chance tournament or they survive our next fight. I mean, obviously we want to survive that one, but it's good to have at least some kind of cushioning, even if it's, oh, you have to win like 3 or 4 fights in a row later on. Let's see who's able to take this one to do fairly different designs down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Ripron out-wedging Black Dragon and immediately destroying that front wedge. Not a good start for Black Dragon, though Black Dragon able to get underneath there somehow. And there goes the fork of Ripron. Both bots taking some serious damage with the ground game, but Black Dragon is at an advantage here, and is no longer at an advantage because its wedges are gone as well. Black Dragon now pushing Ripron into the screws. Unable to completely get them in there. Flips Ripron again. Black Dragon, I'd say, on top now as they landed another solid shot on Ripron. We've seen that weapon of Black Dragon is not the most reliable, so we'll see if they're able to keep this pressure up, but Ripron is struggling to get up. We have seen that before. If they lose their fork, they lose a ton of their stability. What a shot by Black Dragon. That was probably one of the best shots they've ever landed, but Ripron with a brutal counterattack, heavily damaging that drum of Black Dragon. Ripron's weapon is not going to have those issues. It is 3D printed, one solid piece, and they are completely in control now as they rip off even more of that weapon and do some serious damage on what appears to be the right side of the chassis, ripping a chunk off. Black Dragon is bleeding now, and that is not good at all. They are not moving anymore. And Ripron, after taking a serious shot, now splits Black Dragon in half just to end the fight. And what a comeback performance by Ripron. They looked like they were on the ropes for a decent amount, but now they get their second win. Ripron got an advantage in the very first shot, ripping apart Black Dragon's wedge. Yeah, that did not last long, but Black Dragon went on the counterattack, like ripping off Ripron's forks, and even though it lost its own wedge in the process, it was able to dominate for most of the middle portion of this fight. It had better ground game and was more able to effectively deliver the weapon. And there is always an angle they could get on Ripron. Ripron didn't really have it as much luxury. But what a beautiful shot there from Black Dragon. But that was where the fight turned. Ripron was able to break Black Dragon's drum and then tear apart the frame from there. Ripron now sits at 2-2 with a fight against Apex to see who survives. Fight number 5, and we see Captain Shredderator versus Blue Flame. Both bots now sitting at 1 and 2, needing to win their next 2 fights in order to have a guaranteed chance of survival. And yeah, Captain Shredderator is a very lightweight bot, but Blue Flame is not the most durable bot either, so while Blue Flame has a decent shot of landing the critical shot to throw Captain Shredderator out or flip it over, Captain Shredderator could also do some serious damage to Blue Flame, so let's see who gets the advantage down in the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Nice shot from Blue Flame to kick things off, send Captain Shredderator into the air, but Captain Shredderator lands a decent counter shot, but Blue Flame with what a shot! Yeah, that was a perfect shot by Blue Flame, straight out of the arena, like several bricks in height over. Blue Flame rising to 2-2, while Captain Shredderator falls to 1-3. Next up, we see Arctic Wind and Endgame colliding. Endgame almost had the former champ Bite Force fall to 1-2, but instead they continued the attack and then lost the fight, while Arctic Wind was able to win their fight against, I believe, not Nightmare. I don't remember who they fought, but they got the win in that fight. I believe it was Ripron. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they beat Ripron. Don't quote me on that though. But anyways, they're taking each other on now, and whoever wins goes 2-2 and faces Blue Flame. The loser falls to 1-3 and faces Captain Shredder for one last attempt to make the final last chance bracket. So let's see who wins this fight down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Ooh, both bots get flipped, but Endgame able to suffer it, and Arctic Wind able to self-right. Both bots reset, and Endgame gets underneath that time, but Arctic Wind lands a brutal shot, ripping off a fork, and now Endgame stuck on its face. Arctic Wind backing away now. 10, they know they've won 9, this fight. 8, this will 7, be the third 6, win of their career, 5, and the second 4, win 3, in this competition, 2, putting them at 2-2. Knockout. Endgame started off, I'd say, slightly better. They were able to get underneath once, while Arctic Wind landed a perfect shot to rip a fork off and then flip Endgame over, resulting in them winning. We're now seeing bots with 2-1 records, 2 wins. You know what that means. Whoever wins this fight will survive, and SubZero and Lunar New Year over very eager for that position in both bots. It's coming off some decent wins. Lunar New Year with that pretty good win over Blue Flame, while SubZero took the win over Captain Shredderator. Both bots end their fights pretty quickly, but now they're taking on each other. Lunar New Year definitely has the lower wedge, but SubZero, I'd say, is a little bit more reliable, at least from what we've seen. It's going to be pretty interesting to see the first fight in this round of who will survive. Let's find out down in the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Ooh, nice shot by Lunar New Year, and they rip the tip of the flipper off. Now they throw SubZero into the screws, but they immediately spit SubZero back out. Lunar New Year on the attack early in this fight. But what did I say about that wedge reliability? Lunar New Year has come completely off, and SubZero capitalizes, flipping Lunar New Year out of the arena. What I said was in fact true. Lunar New Year was the lower bot, but its wedge just broke off, and SubZero capitalized on it with one flip and ended the fight. It's now the final fight of the loser side of the bracket for this round. It is Biohazard versus Bite Force. Bite Force does have the cheese slope wedges, but those are not the best, especially since they aren't really attached to the bot. If they're like static attached to the bot, to really scrape the ground they have to be hinged, and if they're hinged, they're not very good at all, and if they're statically attached to the bot, they can break up pretty easily, so that's going to be very difficult for Bite Force to really consistently get underneath Biohazard either way. But Biohazard can also absolutely take advantage of that. It has ground scraping wedges of its own, and if those forks do come off, then Biohazard can absolutely take advantage. But if Bite Force can land some perfect shots early, it could pretty easily win this fight. Winner of this survives. Let's see who does down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Bite Force getting underneath Biohazard and flipping it over already. Now already trying to get into the pit. Bite Force immediately taking control of this fight. Hey, they have flipped Biohazard and they are not letting them get up, but they have lost one of their forks. Those forks on Bite Force, again, not the most durable. There goes a second fork. Biohazard still has yet to self-right. There's a nice shot to severely damage that lifter of Biohazard. And now Bite Force is trying to get them into the pit again. Biohazard able to kind of self-right, but Bite Force doing the best they can to guide them in, but they cannot quite get Biohazard down the pit. But they have taken some great points early, but they are already down to one fork. And Biohazard showing its wedge game here. There is another piece off of Biohazard. Bite Force may only be down to one fork, but they are still dominating this fight. Biohazard really needs to figure out how to respond here. Been well over a minute at this point, and Bite Force has just been completely unanswered by Biohazard. Now Biohazard swapping to its back wedge to try and break off the last fork, or at least stalemate Bite Force, but that doesn't work there. They get flipped again. Bite Force completely in control, as Biohazard struggling to do much of anything. There's a more of a timid ram by Bite Force. So you might wonder, do they try and play it safe, or do they try and go in for the kill? There's a solid shot there from Bite Force again, as Biohazard continues to struggle. They have the defenses. Oh, there goes the last fork. They have the defenses necessary to outlast it. They finally get underneath, but unable to do anything in that position because their lifter was on the front. They were driving backwards. Bite Force getting underneath again. They're even with those nubs of forks, they have the front that has been severely damaged, and now Biohazard in the screws yet again. Bite Force getting completely dominated, but they need something here. Now flip Biohazard. I'm trying to get them out of the arena, but oh my goodness, they flipped themselves over, and Biohazard throws them out. Oh my goodness, what a tragedy for Bite Force. That fight very similar to Bite Force versus Bronco all the way back in Season 1. Bite Force nearly dominated the entire fight. That fight went a lot longer than this one did. But in the end, Bronco was able to hit Bite Force at the last second by getting underneath them. This time, Bite Force was not in as good a position. Biohazard still had a lot of its wedges, but Bite Force was just totally dominant in that fight until they lost all of their forks, and really with that, Biohazard was able to get more underneath. Bite Force really began to grow desperate because they knew any shot from Biohazard could take them out of the fight, but unfortunately that ended up flipping themselves, and Biohazard was able to get underneath and finally throw Bite Force out of the arena, putting them at 3-1 and making them survive, while Bite Force falls to 2-2. For our first fight of the winner's side of this round, we see Jade Dragon taking on Witch Doctor. Obviously, both bots have lost their past 2 fights in a row. Had one win to get into the winner's side and then lost the next 2. And they're kind of not in a good position, especially bots in the winner's bracket. If they lose, they're going to have to rely on the last chance rumble and then win their last fight in order to even get there. Last chance tournament, not last chance rumble. It's going to come down to see if Witch Doctor will blow up for the 3rd fight in a row, or if Jade Dragon won't be able to do anything again. Let's see who takes this fight down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Both bots spinning up their weapons. Witch Doctor getting underneath, absorbing the first blow, and now getting Jade Dragon into the screws. A great start for Witch Doctor now as they box them into the corner. Jade Dragon is going to be able to take the shots that aren't going to break easily, especially the Witch Doctor, but they are losing in the early stage of this fight, and Witch Doctor not showing signs of letting up this point. And now they bullet. Oh! You can tell my reaction.
10, 9,
Yep.
8.
Well, it didn't
7,
explode this time, which I guess is
4,
better.
3,
At least it was
2,
actually
1.
performing well.
Knockout.
Witch Doctor. Am I right? Yeah, it did honestly pretty well for itself in the start, getting Jade Dragon into the screws, flipping him over a couple of times. But they just split in half. This chassis is just proven to be incredibly fragile, and now Witch Doctor is 1-3. Our next fight is Retrograde and Deep Six, and in LEGO rematch, Retrograde was somehow able to take the win in that fight, even though I've tested that fight so many times and Deep Six has won most of them. And Deep Six, it's still got that very powerful, incredibly powerful spinner, but obviously the reliability is its major weakness we've seen over and over again. But Retrograde is not that durable of a bot itself, so if Deep Six can actually land the shots it wants to, it could knock out Retrograde. But let's see if Retrograde will win again down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Retrograde getting its lifter out of the line of fire, but Deep Six lands a massive uppercut. Retrograde in the corner, out of the corner, but upside down, the fork's gone. There goes the spinner, and there goes the back half of Retrograde. I don't think that Retrograde is able to move. Deep Six finishing the job though. What a performance,
10,
and that
9,
is how you
8,
get revenge.
7, 6,
Countdown is on, and
5,
Deep Six
4,
advances to
3,
2-2 to take on Jade
1.
Dragon.
Knockout.
Well, that's how Deep Six is supposed to work. That's where just planted some brutal shots on Retrograde and just ripped it completely to shreds. And that is how Deep Six works, and poor Retrograde has to face Witch Doctor to see who goes 2-3. Now we're back in the win to survive kind of fights. 2-2-1 bots, Sandloone and Minotaur. Sandloone's pretty good and designed to counter with Minotaur. That's just big wedge in the front, and and Minotaur doesn't have any ground game at all, so it doesn't matter that it's not cheese slope wedges. So yeah, this is pretty good matchup for Sandloone. Let's see if Minotaur can reverse it, or Sandloone takes the win down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Sandloone obviously getting underneath Minotaur, already getting them into the screws. Great control here from Sandloone to start, and they get Minotaur into the screws again, flip them over, but Minotaur does not care. What does care about getting stuck
10,
against the wall on
9,
its back?
8,
The countdown starts,
7,
Sandloone taking a quick,
5,
easy victory
4,
and surviving.
3, 2, 1. Knockout.
Well, now you know, Sandloone survived, so this will not be its last competition, and obviously you'll see it very soon in Battle of the Builders, which will in fact be happening after the Losers League. As for Minotaur, still has one last chance to survive. Next up is Sunflower versus Redblow. Hey, a big vertical spinner without any real ground game versus a control bot with decent ground game. Where have we seen this matchup before? Now, it's just more extremes of their design type. Redblow, obviously, very tough wedge. It has a big anti-spinner wedge, and Sunflower is just big vertical disc. So, let's see who wins and survives down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Sunflower just kind of bounces off of Redblow's wedge. Redblow pretty easily getting underneath as expected. And now pushing Sunflower into the wall. And oh, Redblow loses its wedge, but Sunflower is upside down. No way to get back up. This fight is over. Redblow is going to survive and move into a rematch with Sandloone, while Sunflower will fall into a rematch with Minotaur.
Knockout.
Nope. Complete domination from Redblow, and it's pretty much exactly what we expected from that fight, and Redblow takes the win. We are in the top 8 of the bots now, and we see Talon taking on Thunderbolt. Winner survives. Thunderbolt reeling from its annihilation at the hands of Glitch, while Talon it got surprisingly mauled by unnecessary violence, so both bots coming off of pretty bad losses here. Now taking each other on. Talon obviously has the wedge advantage we've seen time and time again. Thunderbolt's reaction to choose the wedges, but there are definitely parts of Talon that Thunderbolt can get underneath, especially on those sides. Because will those anti-gyro things help Talon or hurt it in this fight? Let's find out down in the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Talon getting underneath Thunderbolt early, and that is to be expected. Those cheese slope wedges are just simply the best form of ground game, and the tip of Thunderbolt's flipper is already gone, making his Thunderbolt's ground game ever so slightly worse. There goes a fork of Talon. We know those aren't the most durable. Well, Thunderbolt trying to use the sides, trying to get around to those anti-gyro wings, but Talon does not care, and is just getting underneath Thunderbolt, and is landing some nasty shots, but not quite to the level we saw from the other fights. I'm a Glitch now. That is kind of to be expected. Talon is not as powerful as Glitch. Oh, but Thunderbolt lands a flip somehow, I don't know where, but they're lining up, and that is a flip. What a flip by a Thunderbolt, and they're going in for another one, lining up and sending them out of camera range for the second flip in a row. And there's a third shot. Wow. Talon is upside down, Thunderbolt's flipper is stuck. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, Thunderbolt can't get it unstuck. And they're
10,
backing away because
9,
they've taken the win.
8, 7,
Talon's
6,
ground game completely
5,
gone
4,
after those
3,
massive flips
2,
from Thunderbolt,
1,
and Thunderbolt will
knockout.
survive. Talon started off in control, pretty dominant in that fight, as I said, as expected. And the cheese slope wedge is just the best form of ground game. But Thunderbolt somehow managed to line up a flip. I don't know how they did this, but they managed to line up a flip and get Talon upside down. Like here, I don't know what happened there, but they followed that up with 3 out of camera range flips in a row to just completely annihilate Talon. I don't know how Talon didn't go out of the arena there, but Thunderbolt survives. For our next battle of 2-in-1s, Jackpot takes on Bombshell. A very interesting fight. Bombshell got completely dominated by Fossilize. Jackpot lost an incredible brawl against Hypersshock to end up here, and it's very interesting. It all depends on who's going to get underneath, because Bombshell, if it gets underneath, could really destroy the wedge of Jackpot and then rip it apart from there. But if Jackpot gets underneath, could flip Bombshell in a single shot, could get underneath but not flip them, and that fight could go on for a while, and then Bombshell could win anyways. So, gonna be interesting. Let's find out down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Both bots spin up, and Jackpot's about to get underneath and immediately flips Bombshell
10,
over, and they are
9,
backing away.
8,
Pretty
7,
expected
5,
after that
4,
result,
3,
and that is going to be a win for
1,
Jackpot, who will
knockout.
survive, while Bombshell falling to 2-2 after that. They need to win their next fight against Talon in order to survive, else they fight in the last chance bracket. We are now in the top 4 bots, the bots that went 3-0 in their first 3 fights, the bots who really don't particularly care about how these next 2 fights go because they have survived anyways. And this fight sees Unnecessary Violence take on Glitch. Glitch coming off a massive triumph over Thunderbolt to gain its name, while Unnecessary Violence also had a pretty prominent win, taking down Talon and proving it can still compete with the cheese slope wedges, but Glitch is a lot more reliable in terms of forks than Talon ever will be. So, not sure how well it's going to do, but you know, Unnecessary Violence beat Talon, it could be Glitch, so let's find out if it does down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Glitch getting underneath Unnecessary Violence as expected, doesn't rip a fork off there, rips a fork off there, though, and lands a solid follow-up punch. Glitch, as expected, is getting underneath, not landing some serious shots, but there goes both forks. That could change in a hurry, and a nice shot to land there by Glitch, but they do let Unnecessary Violence go free. that's more reasonable in these. Oh, what a shot there! That was a straight up back, and that's the kill shot. Well, that was Glitch. Kind of looked not incredible out of the game. It wasn't really landing the shots it was known for until there. Until it ripped both the wedges off and sent unnecessary violence into a backflip, that was half speed by the way, and then launched them out of the arena. With Glitch going 4-0, it's time to see who will face him in the ultimate final of the competition. Hypersshock or Fossilize. Now this is a really good fight. This would probably be a main event in an actual field, let alone the Losers League. I mean, these are two of the best bots in this field obviously, and two of the better ones in the actual field, Fossilize and Hypersshock. Fossilize defeating Bombshell, Hypersshock taking out Jackpot, and it might not come down to who gets underneath, I must say. If Hypersshock gets underneath, it could be eventually outwedged by Fossilize, by those still pristine secondary wedges, but Fossilize could get underneath, and Hypersshock might just not care. So, we've seen both these bots win, even if they lose their ground game. So, let's find out who takes it in this incredible fight down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Fossilized outwedging Hypersshock to start, getting them in the screws early. Great start for Fossilized now, as Hypersshock has been flipped, and they get jammed in the screws again, and still upside down. Hypersshock still needs to self-right, and Fossilize there every turn. Now we know Hypersshock can't self-right with the screws by this point, and I don't know why they're still trying. And there's Fossilize putting them in themselves and trying to get them out of the arena with that grabber. Fossilize off to a brilliant start. This is like perfect. Their opponent has been upside down for most of the fight, and Hypersshock finally gets back up though and does a quick drive to escape, but Fossilize gets underneath again. Though Hypersshock with a counterattack, flipping Fossilize and ripping a fork off in the process. Hypersshock back in this fight, and there goes a second fork. Hypersshock now getting underneath consistently, and suddenly this fight is turned on its head as even more of Fossilized wedges break off. And that's all of the main forks, and the center of the secondary wedges is Fossilized. Oh, but there goes Hypersshock's wedge. And now suddenly Fossilize has the ground game advantage. As soon as it turned in Hypersshock's favor, it turned back to Fossilized. But Fossilize does have to be a lot more careful. Their ground game is a lot more compromised than it used to be. But Hypersshock definitely has no wedge now, and that is a significant problem as Fossilize tries to get them into the pit, and they have done so. Well, one thing's for sure, these two bots don't care that their next two fights, these two fights don't really matter. They came here to win. Fossilize getting great control and just completely dominating Hypersshock in the first 30-40% of this fight. And this was about as perfect as a start to a fight as you could have wanted if you were Fossilized. Hypersshock, but once they got right side up, they went on a rampage, ripping off all of the main forks and making Fossilize bleed. This was not a good start for Fossilize, and at least that part of the fight, but as soon as it looked like Hypersshock was going to be dominating the fight, their wedge came off, and Fossilize was able to take advantage after that. They still had two of their secondary wedges, which proved a lot more capable than Talon's secondary wedges. Talon truly walked so that Fossilize could run in this fight, and Fossilize goes to 4-0 to meet Glitch.